What is a sonar? Why monitor the Ionian Sea? Do sonars confuse cetaceans? The sonar emits acoustic or ultrasonic pulses through an underwater radiating device called a projector and captures the pulses reflected from any obstacles by means of a sensitive microphone called a hydrophone, or transducer. From the time elapsed between the emission of the signal and the reception of the reflected wave, known the speed of propagation of the sound waves in the water, it is possible to trace the distance of the object. This instrument is used for navigation, for communication, to detect the position of ships and submarines, but also to monitor and study marine fauna. A distinction is made between active and passive sonars. The passive one, called the hydrophonic component, consists of one or more sensors, which pick up the sounds transmitted by the vessels and allow to locate the direction of origin and identify the source based on the characteristics of the sound detected. The best advantage of this solution is the silence, together with the possibility of discovering the characteristics of the noise emission source. It is also possible, thanks to trigonometry and having at least 3 sensors arranged along the length of the boat, to obtain with sufficient approximation the distance to the source. Active sonar, on the other hand, operates according to the radar principle and allows the localization of submerged bodies through the detection of echoes relating to sound pulses or ultrasounds emitted by means of a cylindrical acoustic base built with a set of transduction elements. Similarly to radar, the active sonar provides information on the position of the target boat, which will be all the more accurate, the more the acoustic power emitted will be relevant. The dimensions of the transmission acoustic base will be congruous. The dimensions of the target and its appearance will be favorable. The sonar was used by the researchers of the INGV of Catania to detect the displacement of the submarine faults of our Ionian Sea, but also to hear and measure the intensity of the underwater tsunamis through the hydrophone located in the Catania station EMSO. Such research and monitoring focused in these areas arise from the fact that in Italy, the area most prone to tsunami risk is that of the Ionian Sea, immediately south of the Strait of Messina, where one of the most destructive earthquakes of the modern and contemporary era occurred. An earthquake of magnitude 7.2 destroyed several cities on the coast of the Sicily and Calabria, also causing a tsunami with waves up to over 13 meters high. While sonar has been useful in scientific and military research, it must also be considered that this technique can be harmful to some marine species. According to what was discovered by a study carried out by the Sonar Institute of Marine Sciences, dolphins, for example, would speak to each other through a dialect, a series of signals recognizable by the group they belong to, which differ between sounds, with a frequency of 20 kHz called vocalizations, and ultrasounds, with variable frequency between 20 and 200 kHz, called sonar signals or echolocation. This means that through the emission of sounds, the odontocytes are able to understand the distances between them and their prey. According to scholars, it is precisely echolocation that is one of the main causes that leads cetaceans to beach. It is a real biological sonar that some odontocytes use to estimate distances. This is why there are those who claim that the vibrations emitted by our sonars are the cause of stranding, or at least of many of them. According to some hypotheses, sonar would be able to cause the death of whales due to hemorrhages in the ears. Other studies would show that the impulses emitted would be able to tear the tissues around the ears and brain of cetaceans. These physical damages were found only in cases of stranding after naval exercises. The emission of frequencies similar to those produced by these mammals would also be able to modify the behavior of some subjects who could mistake the sonar sounds for predators or for messages from other members of the group.